Welcome back to the ACB Wrestling Talk channel, your main source for wrestling news and wrestling discussions. I am, of course, your host, Alexis Carrillo, and let's get into some wrestling talk. WWE presents Clash of Champions 2019 this Sunday, where every single championship on the WWE main roster will be on the line. All 10 titles, plus one extra match, because, you know, it's the big dog, it's the face of the company. And, you know, he didn't have a match at SummerSlam, so he has to have a match at this upcoming pay-per-view to take place this Sunday on the WWE Network. So with that said, let's go right into the preview. And the fact of the matter is that just this past Monday, it was announced that AJ Styles was going to defend his United States Championship against the upstart Cedric Alexander. Now, over the past few weeks, pretty much ever since Paul Heyman took over Raw, we've been seeing more and more of what Cedric Alexander is capable of in that ring against some of the top stars. We've seen him in the ring against AJ Styles and against Drew McIntyre as well. So it's safe to say that he can handle some type of high caliber match. But the real question is, will WWE pull the trigger and actually give Cedric Alexander, a former Cruiserweight champion, will they actually give him a U.S. title run? Will they actually give him a win over AJ Styles? And unfortunately for me, well, unfortunately for him, in my opinion, I don't think he is ready to be United States champion. And obviously the odds aren't in his favor, because he's not only facing AJ Styles at Clash of Champions, he also has to deal with the Good Brothers, the OC, the only original club themselves, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, who are sure to be at ringside for this United States title defense. So, gotta say it, AJ Styles comes out with the victory, still retaining the title, but in the process, making Cedric Alexander look as strong as possible. With that said, we move over to the tag team match, where the WWE Women's Tag Team titles will be on the line. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross defend their titles against the team of Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Now, many fans would go ahead and predict that Mandy and Sonya are going to beat Alexa and Nikki for the tag team titles. You got to keep that division strong. You got to switch them up every once in a while. Not me. Not me. I don't think Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville are ready as a team to carry that tag team division, however small it may be. But I don't think that they're ready. Plus, I think, you know, Bliss and Nikki Cross are going to eventually drop the titles to either back to the Iconics, to the Kabuki Warriors in Kairi Sane and Asuka, or, surprise, surprise, the first ever women's tag team champions themselves, Sasha Banks and Bayley. Hopefully, or possibly in the future, they could have all 4 women's titles in their possession. So that's my prediction. Bliss and Nikki Cross retain their titles. As I mentioned, a no DQ match, no title on the line at Clash of Champions, but a lot of controversy, because we've been witnessing this pretty much for a month and a half, almost 2 months, and we've been wondering who caused the attack on Roman Reigns, who's been trying to get him, for lack of a better term, into an accident on WWE television. They almost had him gotten run over by a car. We saw that on Monday Night Raw. Then the set backstage on SmackDown Live almost crushed Roman Reigns, and then it was finally revealed that it was Eric Rowan who had caused all this mayhem against the big dog. So now this Sunday, they face off in a no disqualification match, where, to me, the result is really simple. This is WWE. Roman Reigns is their top guy. Roman Reigns is the top babyface. Reigns is going to win. But eventually, we have to see Reigns versus Bryan one-on-one, because you can't really miss out on such a feud, on such a rivalry of 2 of WWE's most popular stars. So I got to give it to Roman Reigns with a no DQ win over Eric Rowan this time. I don't think it's going to hurt Rowan as much as a loss would hurt Reigns in this case, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens this Sunday at Clash of Champions. Then we got the first Raw Women's Championship match, the first title defense for the women. Becky Lynch defends her title. The man defends her title against the boss, Sasha Banks. Banks returned with a fury like no one had ever seen before, and now she's up and, up and coming for that Raw Women's Championship, and she's got an ally, a very, very surprising ally. When we saw Bayley, I can't say turn heel because I don't like that term of essentially someone just making a decision as a human being to support their friend, like Bayley did for Sasha. I wouldn't call that turning heel, but in the pure sense, or in the pure dictionary of professional wrestling, that's right, Bayley did turn heel. So I think Sasha Banks not only beats the man down, but she gains back the Raw Women's Championship against the man. And hopefully this can bring back that furious man that we saw on the road to WrestleMania, because otherwise we've seen a pretty timid man, to say the least, with both the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships in the past, and now only with the Raw Women's title. So I gotta go with Sasha Banks in that case. Nakamura versus The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. Not much to say here. I'm not really that interested in this feud. I'm definitely interested in the match that they're going to put on this Sunday. It's for the Intercontinental Championship. They gotta bring that title back to at least some kind of relevance. I think Nakamura retains because in the end of it all, I think Nakamura has to drop the title to Mustafa Ali. That to me is the end game for this entire Nakamura run with the Intercontinental title. And The Miz, he's won a few matches, he's lost a few matches. Another loss won't hurt the Hollywood superstar. So I think Nakamura has to come out with the victory at Clash of Champions. The New Day versus the Revival for the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships. Again, very few build-up here. We've mostly seen build-up between Randy Orton and Kofi Kingston, with the Revival getting involved and the rest of the New Day out of commission. So I gotta give it here to the New Day retaining their SmackDown Tag Team titles, mostly because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the Revival are a Raw Tag Team. Yeah, I think they're a Raw Tag Team, so I really can't see how a Raw Tag Team is going to become SmackDown Tag Team Champions. But then again, as it's been reported on wrestling websites, a new draft might take place in October, and the Revival might end up on SmackDown Live. But for now, I gotta give it to the New Day retaining their SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Then we've got the triple threat match for the Cruiserweight title. Again, with all due respect to all you 205 Live fans, don't watch the show, can't really comment on the storylines. To be honest, I haven't seen Humberto Carrillo wrestle, even though he has pretty much my last name. I haven't seen him wrestle. I've seen some of Lince Dorado. Gotta give it to Drew Gulak. Gotta go with the common sense pick, at least from my point of view, since I'm not a regular viewer of 205 Live. But hey, if you don't agree with me, leave your thoughts and comments on the comment section below. Who do you think walks out of this match with the Cruiserweight title? Then we've got Bayley versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. Bayley recently supported her friend Sasha Banks, who is a heel now, so many are associating Bayley to heel Sasha Banks and making her the heel. Haven't really seen that much mannerisms, that much heel mannerisms on Bayley's part, but if we are building to that, I'm glad they're doing it in a slow manner, because like I said during the Raw Women's title preview, Bayley didn't turn heel, although in wrestling terms she practically did, but not in my mind. She just supported her friend. She just supported her best friend. And she made a decision, which to me makes logic sense. In all life, in all WWE logic, everything. It just makes sense that Bayley would support Sasha Banks after all they've been through. And now, Bayley has, for lack of a better term, and a cheat sheet to win this match, with Sasha Banks possibly causing the distraction and giving the Boss and Hut Connection. I believe that's what they were named when they were tag team, giving them all the power in the women's divisions on both Raw and SmackDown. So gotta give it to Bayley retaining. And finally, Bayley is starting to seem like an interesting character once more. Then we've got the match for the WWE Championship, a rematch from SummerSlam. Kofi Kingston defends his WWE title against the Viper, Randy Orton. And I said it before, I said it during the SummerSlam Fallout just a few weeks ago. I think that finish at SummerSlam was nothing more than a freaking cop-out. They didn't want to have Kofi lose the title then and there, and they didn't want to put Randy Orton away as a possible contender for the WWE Championship, so they just opted to cop out, you know. They just opted to not have a clear winner, a clear decisive winner, which to me hurt the feud, hurt the rivalry, because yes, you do have to continue this rivalry. There's so much history behind it. They're so interconnected in their past. But to have that finish at SummerSlam, that kind of bothered me. But now, at Clash of Champions, Randy Orton has to beat Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship so that they can end this feud next month at Hell in a Cell, inside the Hell in a Cell, for the WWE Championship. And then Kofi Kingston can regain his title and be on the road to WrestleMania. And possibly, if they do this, they can establish Kofi Kingston as a main event star for years and years to come, as opposed to a one-time title reign like so many others before him, like The Miz, like JBL, like the late great Eddie Guerrero. So many more in the past have had just one title reign, and then they're not in the title picture, and then they don't win titles, and that's it for their main event run. I don't think that should be the case with Kofi Kingston. I think the fans are so much in support of him, so they back him up so much that they want to see him in the main event scene for years and years to come. I believe, I believe that the key to that is to have him lose at Clash of Champions and then regain his title inside Hell in a Cell next month. And finally, we've got the two main events, if you could call them. They're pretty much interconnected, because earlier on the night, we're gonna have Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman defending their Raw Tag Team titles against Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler. Now, even though Seth Rollins is the current Universal Champion, and even though we all know of the size of Braun Strowman and how dominant he can be in that ring, we've seen this before. We've seen this in the past, where you have champion and challenger, they tag together. Whether they're tag team champions or not doesn't really come into play, but they tag together, and eventually miscommunication happens and they get on each other's bad side and they end up losing the match. So that's what I'm going to go. I'm going to go with the WWE logic, textbook logic. I'm going to go with Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler becoming Raw Tag Team champions. And that, of course, leads into the main event of Clash of Champions, where Seth frickin' Rollins defends his Universal Championship against the monster among men, Braun Strowman. And I gotta give it to WWE. I mean, this is just a coin toss, in my opinion, because Seth Rollins' reign on top of WWE, on top of Raw, hasn't been that much interesting. He had a timer feud with Baron Corbin. He had a mildly interesting feud and rivalry with the Beast, Brock Lesnar. But now, I'm hoping that they can give him, his character, some life by injecting Braun Strowman into his journey as champion, as the top guy on Raw. So we'll just have to wait and see what comes out of Clash of Champions, what happens during that match. But overall, I think Seth Rollins should retain the Universal Championship. I just don't see Braun Strowman as the top guy on Raw right now. Not yet, at least. But hey, you know, anything can happen. It's going to be a Sunday night pay-per-view. It's going to be live on the WWE Network. They definitely need to establish new stars as main event stars. And Braun Strowman, at least in my opinion, is not ready right now, but he will be in the very near future. We'll just have to wait and see with what they'll go with. So with that said, those are my predictions. This is the Clash of Champions preview for this Sunday night. What do you think about my predictions? Do you agree with them? Do you disagree with them? Leave your own predictions on the comments section below. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you dislike this video, hit the dislike button. That's it for me. Till next time.